Hare Krishna. So today we are doing the mantra 5 of Sri Isopanishad. So before we enter into the mantra, let's have a brief discussion about the history, significance, and the position of Sri Isopanishad. So the Sri Isopanishad appears in the Shukla Yajurveda. It is one of the last sessions of the Shukla Yajurveda. It is also appearing in a Vajasaneya Samhita. That is why it is also called Vajasaneya Samhita Upanishad. So just like Bhagavad Gita, Sri Isopanishad also has 5 central topics that it encompasses. These 5 topics are Ishvara, Jiva, Kala, Karma, and Prakriti. So Isopanishad has been first spoken to sage Dadyan. He is the son of sage Atharva. So Dadyan has been a very virtuous child, very self-controlled, austere, and possessed all divine qualities within himself. So when he has approached his father and inquired about the ultimate truth, so that is when these verses of Sri Isopanishad have been spoken by sage Atharva to his son sage Dadyan. Also, these verses we see are utilized for the glorification of Yajna. Yeah, Yajna is the son of Akuti. Yeah. So who is Akuti? Akuti is the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu had 3 daughters, Akuti, Prasuti, and Devahuti. We all know about the story of Devahuti in detail in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto. He also had 2 more daughters, Akuti and Prasuti. And Akuti had a son whose name is Yajna. So this Yajna is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. So Swayambhuva Manu, who will be actually the grandfather of Yajna, has glorified Yajna, Lord Vishnu, through these beautiful verses or mantras of Sri Isopanishad. So there are total 18 mantras of Sri Isopanishad, and we are currently discussing about the 5th mantra. Yeah. So this 5th mantra also beautifully describes about the inconceivable qualities of the Supreme Lord. So as I said, Isopanishad also deals with 5 core concepts: Ishvara, Jiva, Kala, Karma, and Prakriti. So since Isopanishad also discusses about the Atma Tattva and the Ishvara Tattva, it is not one of those Upanishads which deals with the Karma Kanda chapters. It deals with bringing the seeker close to the Lord, Isha Upanishad. That is, brings one closer to Isha or God. Yeah, another meaning of Isopanishad is that which cuts material bondage. Yeah. Upa, ni means certainly, Nishad means that which cuts the bondage to this material existence. So Sri Isopanishad is that powerful book of 18 amazing mantras which can cut the material attachments and bring one closer to the understanding of the supreme absolute truth. So the mantra 5 of Sri Isopanishad describes about the inconceivable qualities of Isha or Lord, the Supreme Lord. So we will read the mantra together. It's a very sweet verse. We can also recite this verse together. Let me share my screen. Yeah. Tad ejati tannayjati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bahyatah. Tad ejati tannayjati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bahyatah. Tad ejati tannayjati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bahyatah. Synonyms: Tad, this Supreme Lord, ejati, walks. Tat, he, na, not, ejati, walks. Tat, he, dure, far, far away. Tat, he, you also, antike, very near. Tat, he, antaha, within. Asya, of this. Sarvasya, of all. Tat, he, also, sarvasya, of all, asya, of this, bahyataha, external to. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He's far away, but he's very near as well. He's within everything, and yet he's outside of everything. It's such a beautiful verse. Yeah? So this is a description of the Lord's transcendental activities executed by his inconceivable potencies. So generally, tad ejati, tad naijati. That means he walks, but he does not walk. Yeah, tad dure, tad vantike. That is, he's far, and at the same time, he's very near. Tadantarasya sarvasya, tadu sarvasyasya bahyatah. That is, he's within everything, and that he's outside everything. Generally, if we speak about something like this while describing a human being, let's say that a person, he can walk and he does not walk. It sounds very illogical. Either he walks or he does not walk. How can a person both walk and cannot walk both? But this is possible with the Supreme Lord. This is called Achintya. He can simultaneously walk and not walk. Yeah. So this is the definition of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Yeah, the Supreme Absolute Truth can encompass all apparent contradictions. So, for example, the Mayavad school of thought says the Lord is impersonal. He has no personal form. This is a partial understanding. This is not a complete understanding. Whereas the Bhagavad philosophy or the pure devotional understanding is that God is both personal and impersonal simultaneously. He can handle both items. It's not that he can either be personal or impersonal. He can be both personal and impersonal. That is God. Yeah, he can handle all contradictions together. So this is where our understanding of a devotee is all encompassing. It is not partial, it is not lopsided, and it fits in the definition of God. God is somebody who is beyond our intellectual capacity to capture. We cannot understand with our intelligence. Yeah. If we are able to decode what is Ishvara Tattva with our intelligence, and then he's not God at all. Yes. God is one of the features of God or Lord Krishna is he's inconceivable. Inconceivable means one who cannot be understood with one's own limited intelligence. So that is why be it a jnani or a bhakta, they are dependent on the Supreme Lord to reveal himself to the bhakta, to the person, to the jiva. Until then, one cannot understand. It's a bewilderment. So I am Lord Brahma, who is four-headed, the most intelligent being of this entire Brahmanda, the Srishtikarta, who has four heads, who has the intelligence to create universe, to the entire planetary systems. What kind of intelligence he must be having? So we just are aghast with people who are creating some things like a rocket, a spaceship, a flying object. We're amazed at their intelligence. Wow, this is a great technology. Imagine Brahma, what all he created. Yes. Uh, so he's super intelligent, the most intelligent being. And he himself is bewildered by Lord Krishna's pastimes. Yes. So that is what is uh, tad dure tad antike. And there is a different beautiful explanation that are given by Prabhupada to explain each of this. Tad ejati, tad na ejati. He walks, but he does not walk. He's very near, yet so far. Tad dure, tad antike. I'll tell you a small real story to understand this. This is not some story from the Itihasas or Puranas. This is just a story, a real story that happened just about 50 years ago in the year 1970. Yeah. And this happened in Detroit. Okay. And this happened to a person who has never heard about even the name Krishna. So there lived a boy who was about 20-year old. His name was Michael. Yes. And he lived in Detroit in the US. So he was searching after many and exploring many different things of life. You name it, he explored everything, including all the different forms of enjoyment that were freely available in the Western culture. And after that, he also explored, being bored of it. Oftentimes, this is what happens. Yeah, we indulge so much in sense gratification. Indians are literally dying hard for that. But in Western culture, everything is freely available. What we are chasing after is very freely available in the West. So, and after enjoying all that, yeah, which everyone is running after, what is the outcome of such a indulgence? One is frustrated, really frustrated. Enough of it. It doesn't give me happiness anymore. It's no more fun. Yes. So this was the stage that this boy has come to. He's tried just about anything and everything possible in the world for enjoyment. And that's when he turned to Eastern philosophies for a higher purpose in life. So he explored Taoism, he explored Zen. Yeah, these are all the Chinese and the other Eastern philosophies, Buddhism and all others. But he still did not find any convincing answers to his questions. So that is when he came across a paperback edition of The Wisdom of God. It was titled as The Wisdom of God. This is like a condensed version of Srimad Bhagavatam written by Srila Prabhupada. So he has taken up this book and he started reading. And as he was reading, he was so, drawn to the philosophy. It seemed to have answered all these unanswered questions on his mind. He connected deeply to what has been spoken in that book. And one particular line particularly caught his attention very much. Yeah. So, what was that line? That line said, if you want true happiness and peace, just surrender to Krishna. This is what is written in that. Yeah. If you want true happiness and peace, just surrender to Krishna. Somehow this line has appealed to him very much. It just got deep into his conscience. And it was just as, it was working as an undercurrent. It kept reoccurring to his mind again and again. And sometimes, during he was going through a major psychological crisis. And this is also called uh, psychic catharsis, especially when the old ideas are being purged out by new ones. There's a phenomenon called psychic catharsis that happens at the level of your psyche. So he was going through that. And So that's when he was spending many sleepless nights grappling with the truths of life, what they could be. So during all this time, what was at the back of his mind was this was popping up. If you want true happiness and peace, just surrender to Krishna. So one night he literally cried out. He cried helpless tears and tears and tears. And in that deep emotion, he cried out to Krishna, "Oh Krishna, I surrender to you with all my heart and soul. I don't know what it means, but I have read this and I'm surrendering to you. I don't even know who you are." So this is the prayer that came out of his mind on a helpless night. So the next morning, he was just exploring some work, freelancing work. And he happened to go to a shoe store. It's a leather shoe store. And he just picked up an odd job there and he was doing some job. And as he was working on those leather shoes, uh, he started hearing a couple, a wife and husband, they were singing, and he heard the name of Krishna that they were singing. And they were singing about Krishna. That name directly entered into his heart as if it's a calling. So as soon as he heard that name of Lord Krishna, he immediately ran out of that store to find out from where this is coming. Yes. And he met this couple who were singing the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in this way, as they were singing and they were walking on the streets, Michael ran to them, stopped them, and started inquiring who you are, why, whose names are you singing, who is this person, Krishna? Can I know? So immediately the couple they gave him an invitation card and they told him, do visit us at our center. So Michael took that invitation card and the next day he went to the temple and he met the devotees there. And he began his inquiries and he found all the answers to his questions. And he was so satisfied. It was as if, a pilgrim, after walking for miles and miles and miles, have finally found his destination. This is how a person feels when a person is really searching for truth. When they find the truth, the kind of surrender you express to the truth is at a different level. Truth is given on a silver plate and you say, "Arey Baba, take it, take it." It's always okay, let me consider it. But if you're searching for the truth and then you find the truth, it's a different thrill altogether. So that is what has happened with Michael. He has surrendered to that truth. And he has taken up the whole process so heartfully. And he has joined the ashram and he's practiced the beautiful lifestyle of Krishna consciousness. And eventually he became a disciple of Srila Prabhupada called Mahananda Dasa. He was also the husband of Hladini Mataji, whom we read about in the book of The Legacy of Love. Such a beautiful story. So now the purpose I'm telling you, narrating the story is Krishna far or is he near? Yes. Sometimes when we are in distress, we have a feeling that, where is God? He is in his own abode, busy enjoying with himself. He doesn't care about me. Then who answered this appeal, this cry, this surrender of Michael, who doesn't even know about who Krishna is? He just heard that name and he just had faith in that one sentence. Imagine the faith in one sentence of Prabhupada, of a pure devotee of the Lord. What miracle it can do. That is why reading Prabhupada's books is so, so beautiful, so amazing. One sentence can change a person's destiny. Yeah. So now is Krishna far or is he near? So he's both. What can we say about the Lord? If he's so far, how is that he heard the silent prayer at the dead of the night of a person who has no understanding of who he is? In his childhood, he never heard from his mother about Krishna in the form of stories. He never saw the deity of Krishna. Just like how in India, we all, as kids, we know who is Krishna, the form of Krishna, the Bansiwala, we say in Vrindavan, no matter who the child is, everybody knows about Krishna, literally. So here is Michael, who didn't have that kind of a fortune, a connect. Just one word, one sentence. And that sentence he surrendered to, such powerful words. See what miracle. So is Krishna far or is he near? If he's far somewhere in his own abode, then who answered the prayer of Michael and made him Mahanand? So this is the inconceivable nature of the Supreme Lord. Yes. So we will just go back to this beautiful verse of Srila Prabhupada. He says the contradiction given here prove the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. With our limited fund of knowledge, we cannot accommodate such contradictions. And therefore, we conceive of the Lord in terms of our limited powers of understanding. Yeah. So, because we cannot understand, we try to fit in God to our understanding. That's a fallacy. In that way, we will never get to understand God. Yeah. So Prabhupada says we should not take it for granted that because we cannot see God with our eyes, the Lord has no personal existence. Sri Isopanishad refutes this argument by declaring the Lord is far away, but very near also. Yeah. The abode of the Lord is beyond the material sky, and we have no means to measure even this material sky. Yeah. So, abode of the Lord is beyond the material sky. Where do we know this? In the 15th chapter of the Gita, it is written, Natad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tad dhamam paramam mama. Yeah. There is a beautiful spiritual sky which is beyond this material sky where there is no electricity. Yeah, everything is self-effulgent. Tad dhamam paramam. That is my abode, Lord Krishna is speaking. Yeah. So we cannot even measure the extent of this material sky when we go out and see. How can we even conceive of what is beyond? So the Lord exists there, beyond this material sky. So, but now the question is, but despite the Lord's being so far away, he can at once, within less than a second, descend before us with a speed swifter than that of the mind or wind. Yes. So this is the beautiful pastime of Gajendra. Yeah. When Gajendra opened his, when Gajendra cried out for the Supreme Lord, yeah, initially he was in doubt, as the crocodile caught his leg. Yeah. Gajendra cried out so much. Yeah, he cried out so much that, oh God, I don't know whether you're existing, if you might be there or you might not be there. So as long as he was speculating and uh, doubting whether God is there or not, that God did not appear. But when he surrendered himself, he said, Oh Krishna, only you alone can save me from this. I have no other refugee in all the three worlds other than you. I surrender to you. So when he said that, immediately, Lord has come. He rushed. He rushed at such a speed that no, Garuda had to catch up with him, who is his vehicle, to actually accommodate him. Bhagavatam gives a very beautiful description. He didn't even care to take his Uttariya. The Uttariya also came rushing behind him. Yeah, he came at that speed to rescue Gajendra, his devotee who called out to him in complete surrender. Yeah. So despite the Lord being so far, within less than a second, he can descend before us with a speed swifter than that of mind. He can also run so swiftly that no one can surpass him. So this is described in the previous mantra. Yeah. So this is the inconceivable nature of Krishna. He is far, far, far away in the topmost planet of Goloka Vrindavan. He's in the Vaikunthas as Lord Narayana. He's in Goloka Vrindavan as the two-handed form Supreme Lord Krishna. Farthest from this material sky. But when a devotee surrenders, at once he comes. He doesn't, and not that he sends somebody, he personally comes. He personally comes. There is this devotee, Arjunacharya, who had this doubt. When he was writing the commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, the Tesham Ananyastintayanto mam yejana paripasate Tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam mahamyaham. So in this aham, so he initially thought aham means maybe Krishna will send somebody to look after the needs of his devotee, or through his energies or through somebody. So he was, maybe it is not Krishna himself personally. He was just doubting whether it's Krishna himself personally. So he stopped writing the commentary and went to take baths. Brahmanas take bath twice a day, performing their sandhyas. So, by the time he came back, he actually came in a disguise. Lord Krishna himself personally came in a disguise, and he completed that commentary by writing that, yes, I myself come personally as a person to protect my devotee by giving him what he lacks and protecting what he has. So this is what is Krishna. He'll come personally for a devotee when he calls out in full surrender. And because he's full of inconceivable potencies, God can accept our service through any sort of medium, and he can convert his different potencies according to his own will. Yeah. So there are many arguments that which defy the existence of God. Yeah. So, and especially the Archa Vigraha form. Yeah. So Krishna can appear in his form as in the form, like Lord Krishna is not conceivable through this material senses. Yeah. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriya. Through these senses, we cannot access the Supreme Lord. But Krishna is so merciful that he descends himself in a form called Archa Vigraha, that which we can see, whom we can feel, whom we can touch, whom we can serve. Yeah, that is out of his infinite compassion and causeless mercy. He appears in a form that is visible and tangible to these material senses. So that is the deity forms, or the Achara form of the God, of the Lord. Yeah. So, but then there are so many non-believers who fail to acknowledge the presence of God in the form when he descends as in the form of a deity. Yeah. This is because, again, they say, what is their argument? They say that God cannot be confined to a form. Yeah. He is present everywhere. Why do you want to confine him to a form? So this is what, again, a lopsided understanding. Yes, he is also present everywhere. Yeah. But can you serve everywhere that which is not visible? You want to offer something. You want to offer a beautiful garland. Can you offer it to God who is not visible, who is everywhere, just like that in the air? Hari Baba, no. That is why God, out of his compassion, has come in the form of a deity. And this deity is not some kind of a mental speculation. It is authentic Pancharatra Vidhis where the form of the Lord is described. And when the Shilpa And according to the Shilpa Shastras, how to carve a deity is given. So when you carve such a deity and invoke the presence of God by suitable mantras, by qualified priests, the Lord out of his mercy descends, yeah, into the deity form. To take your service, simply that's the only thing, to give his mercy by accepting your service. So that's his compassion to descend as a deity. And if you want to contend that, why do you want to confine him? Yes, it is his mercy that he's appearing the deity form to engage me in his seva and to give you and me mercy. But that is visible and tangible through the senses, that is accessible through this body and mind. Yeah. So one should not think that such devotees who are in the lowest stage of devotional service are worshipping an idol. Yeah, it is the Mahabhagavats who actually see the deity as non-different from Krishna. The Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Tumi Murti Nahi, Tumi Sakshat Brajendra Nandan. One who is advanced in his ability to see Lord Krishna everywhere sees actually the deity non-different from Brajendra Nandana Krishna himself. Yeah. So in the Bhagavad Gita 4.11, the Lord says, how he treats his devotee depends on the devotee's degree of surrender. So this is the explanation of tad dure tad antike. The Lord is far yet so near. He's far for whom? For those people who do not want to understand God, or who do not want to surrender to God, who do not want to obey the laws of God, who are averse, to the idea of God. To these people, who are asuric in their mentality, he is far, tad dure. But for those who are surrendering to God, who are interested in him, who want to offer their devotion to him, their love for him, who want to connect with him in sincerity, who want to align with his purpose of dharma, to him, he's very near. Yeah, that is tad antike, tad dure, tad vantike. For an unsurrendered soul, he's far, far, far away and cannot be approached. But for a surrendered soul, he's very near, just like we saw in the story of Michael. Yeah. So in this connection, two words are used, Saguna and Nirguna, with qualities and without qualities. So Krishna is both Saguna and Nirguna. He has qualities, but what kind of qualities? Transcendental qualities. Nirguna means what qualities? He does not have material qualities. Nirguna means without qualities. What does that mean? What does it mean that Lord has no qualities? He has no material qualities. He has only transcendental qualities. So Krishna is both Saguna and Nirguna. So this is the explanation of tad ejati, tad naijati, then tad dure, tad vantike. Now let us understand this, the last leg. Tad antarasya sarvasyam, tadu sarvasyasya bahyatana. That is, Lord Krishna is within everything and he's also outside everything. Yes, this we understand by the classical example of how Hiranyakashipu, who was tormenting his devotee son with all kinds of terrible, terrible means, yeah, to somehow stop him from being a God-conscious person, from glorifying the Supreme God, Vishnu. He tried every means to kill him. He failed. Hiranyakashipu is somebody who has conquered over all three worlds, all the planetary systems. He occupied the position of Indra. Nobody could come in front of him. That was his power. All the demigods were, shivering, hearing his name. That was his power. And he could not do anything to a small boy who's 5 years old and who happened to be his own son. So in this beautiful pastime of how Prahlad Maharaj, who had this unlimited, unfettered, undisturbed faith in God, he had moved, he had thoroughly shaken his Asuric father, Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu was, he had, he asked his, I'm cutting the story short, going to the conclusion straight away. So Hiranyakashipu asked Krishna Prahlad, oh my dear son, you're telling that uh, your Vishnu, your worshipable Lord, is present everywhere. Yeah. So tell me, if he's present everywhere, can I see him? Is he present in this pillar? And then Prahlad Maharaj said, yes, he's present in the pillar. Then let me see him. He takes his club, the big bang, he breaks open that pillar. And from that pillar, the Lord came out in a fierce Narsimha avatar. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. Came in the fierce form of Narsimha Deva. Prabhupada explains that, came not because an atheist has challenged, but because his devotee kept that faith. He did not come to satisfy the challenge of an atheist like Hiranyakashipu, who said, he's not there. Let me see if he's there. Some people make argue this way. Sometimes, when I was a small child, I saw this on a TV. That time we had only two channels, DD1 and DD2. In DD1, there was some kind of a samiksha, a group of people coming together. That one person, a very old person, he openly said, if there is God, then I want to see him. And because I cannot see him, I cannot accept his existence. He does not exist. He was posing himself as very scientific. I remember this when I was a very small child, I saw this. So, I felt very, at that time, I really felt this person is speaking something very illogical. Of course, I didn't know how to refute what he said, but it was very clear that he was speaking very illogically. So it is illogical because you cannot see, or because, you know, uh, you argue that there is no God, it does not mean God has to come to prove your argument wrong. Yes. God is, he has higher things to do, than to refute the argument of an atheist. So Narasimhadev appeared not to simply refute the illogical argument of an atheist, but he came to reciprocate with the faith of Prahlad Maharaj. My devotee, he's reposed so much faith in me. He went through so much, but he has never questioned once why this is happening to him. He simply continued to chant my holy name. How much faith, how much love he has. I want to protect him. I want to reciprocate with his love. And to reciprocate with that love, he appeared as Narsingadev. And he proved that statement, that antarasya sarvasya. He's present within everything. The Brahma Samhita says, Andantarastha paramanu chayantarantas asya. Krishna is present within the smallest atom. Andantarastha paramanu. Paramanu means, anu means atom. He's present even within a minute atom. And he is present, outside the entire universe. Yeah, he's present as the Virat form. The Virat form he has shown to Arjuna is to simply exhibit that form which contains the entire universe. Yeah, the unlimited heads, the unlimited hands. It was like so many millions of suns rising at once, occupying the entire sky. He could not see anything else but the Virat form of the Lord in the entire creation. This was the vision of Arjuna, and this was the reality of the presence of Krishna in his Virata Rupa. So that is the meaning of Tadu Bhakyasyasya, Tadu Sarvasyasya Bhakyatamam. He is outside of everything. Everything outside is Krishna himself in the Virat form. And Tad Antarasya Sarvasya. He is within every living entity also as the Paramatma. As a Paramatma, Krishna is the witness of every action of a Jivatma. Yeah, he has a record of every thought, every word we speak, every deed that we do. Everything is recorded, monitored. It's a CCTV camera inside. That is Paramatma. And he has a record of not just this lifetime, of all our lifetimes. And Krishna's memory is infinite and infallible. Everything is recorded in that memory. So we cannot escape Krishna any moment. He is outside everything. He is within us. That is what is omnipresent. It's present everywhere, including within us. That is the meaning of tadantarasya sarvasyam tadu sarvasyasya bhahyatanam. So let's read the concluding paragraph. So this is a very beautiful mantra. I just really love this somehow. Yeah. Yeah. So here is Prabhupada saying that he's within everything and he enters the universe as well as the atoms of the universe. He's outside in his Virat form and within everything as Antaryami. Yeah. He witnesses as Antaryami, he witnesses everything and he gives the results of our action as Karma Phala. So the conclusion. So always the conclusion of Prabhupada's purports are very, very powerful and beautiful. The fact is that there is nothing but God within and without. Everything is a manifestation of his different energies, like the heat and light emanating from a fire. And in this way, there is a oneness amongst his diverse energies. Yeah, everything is a manifestation of his different energies, like there's external energy and internal energy, and there is a marginal energy. Although there is oneness, however, the Lord in his personal form still enjoys unlimitedly all the pleasures enjoyed minutely by the tiny part and parcel living entities. Yeah, the Lord is the supreme enjoyer. In his personal form, he enjoys unlimitedly. So Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. As his tiny part and parcels, we also have enjoyment, but that's very minute and that is limited. But Krishna, it is said that, he is so desirous to give all his, whatever his enjoyment and pleasure that he's experienced, he's so desired to give and share it with all the living entities. Yeah, it's like Krishna is pleasure personified. He's all attractive, all blissful. And to the degree the living entity is connected back to Krishna, to that degree the living entity experiences happiness, bliss, and unlimited pleasure. But the living entity chooses to live separate from Krishna, to be disconnected with God. It is like, a finger separated from the body. What existence does it have? It just withers away due to lack of nourishment. Similarly, a living entity disconnected from God can never experience true happiness or satisfaction. When one reconnects oneself to God, one can reconstitute oneself in the state of happiness, bliss, completeness, and satiation. So that is the process of yoga. And this is how understanding about Krishna and his inconceivable potencies gives us an understanding of God, his nature, and that he is inconceivable. Yeah. The meaning that he can, tad yajati tad naijati. He runs, but he does not run. Yeah. Tad dure tadvantike. How for an atheist he's far away, but for a devotee who's surrendered, he's so near and he's so accessible. Even as a deity form, he descends out of his compassion, such a proximal way. Tomorrow we are celebrating the beautiful Gaura Purnima. Yeah, he has descended as Gauranga Mahaprabhu to give us the Yuga Dharma, the holy name. Just imagine. Holy name. We don't even have to go to the Archa form. He's present in his holy name. How near is Krishna? You just say Krishna. He's there in that name. It can't get closer than this. Is there anybody so close to us than Krishna can ever be? As the form of Paramatma, he is with us through any body that we have taken. We've taken the form of an ant or an eagle or a cat or a dog or a buffalo or a cow or Rakshasa or a Devata, whatever bodies we have taken, he's always been with us. Always, even if we have taken the body of a worm in the stool, he was still with us as the Paramatma. Constant companion. We're always in search of, in this beautiful book, there are something very beautiful at it. There are always two things every living entity is looking for. Two things. Someone to love and something to do for the one they love. This is the constant search of every living entity. So this search is addressed when we look into the scriptures and not when we look outside. So this is Paramatma, constant companion. So he is far away if we don't surrender, so near when we surrender. Tad dure tadvan. Tadantarasya sarvasya. He is within everything and without everything. There is nothing other than Krishna in this whole creation. It's just different manifestations. We begin to appreciate. Thank you very much. It's been such a pleasure personally reading and trying to understand and explain in my small little way. This was, thank you for your time and joining this meeting. Hare Krishna. I will end here. Any question? Hare Krishna. Dandavad. I can take one question.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, I have one question.
Yes, Meghna.
That is,
sorry, you all have asked some questions in Bhaktilata Care and in in the morning sadhana group. I'll answer them. Yeah, go ahead, Meghna.
Mataji, I have two questions. You are saying that God is present everywhere, so He is also present in DT. That is one thing. But actually, मैंने एक ऐसे मतलब I was watching a reel. मतलब एक माता जी किसी से पूछ रहे थे, ही वाज महाराज, तो ही शी आस्क्ड दैट क्या भगवान जैसे कह रहे कण कण में है, तो क्या वो नालों में भी है, गंदी चीजों में भी है क्या? एक्चुअली ही एग्जिस्ट इन दैट आल्सो?
Yes. So yeah, this is in fact answered in the next verses of Sri Isopanishad. So just like there is sun and there is sunshine, right? And sunshine touches, sunshine falls on the beautiful flower garden. Sunshine also falls on the dirtiest places, like the railway tracks, and what's all there on the railway tracks, then Gandhi Nala and all that. But does that mean sunlight is contaminated?
No, Mataji.
Yeah, so is God. So God, although present in Paramanu, of every small little atom, He's Himself. This is again the Achintya nature of God. Yes, this is the beauty of Lord Krishna, Achintya nature. Although He is within everything, He's Himself not touched by the contaminations of this material nature. So the analogy is that of sunlight. Sunlight, although it touches every part of this earth, it remains aloof from being contaminated because it has two qualities. This is also given in the next mantras of the Isopanishad. Shuddham and Apapa Vidham. Shuddham is pure. Yeah, Krishna is all pure. Apapa Vidham, is not touched by impurity. So does that answer your question, Meghna?
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much. And Mataji, second question is how to know that we have surrendered? We all are following Krishna consciousness, everybody is chanting and doing. But what is the actual meaning of surrender? Because we don't understand when we say na surrender, surrender. We like, अरे इतना तो कर दिया. What is required means I don't understand. Sometimes I feel क्या चाहिए surrender. So can you please explain the meaning?
So it's an essay question, but I'll try to tell it in a VSAQ, very short answer question. So surrender is expressed, one is through bhava, one's emotion, just like how it has been expressed by this beautiful story of Michael that we have read today. It's a helpless crying out with a sincere desire to connect and offer one's life. Now, that is surrender. And surrender is also expressed by obedience to follow the instructions. Like, how do we know we are surrendering to Krishna? Yes, Krishna has spoken few truths in the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, out of his unlimited compassion. So are we living by those realities? Are we adopting those principles in our life? Are we trying? We might not see, it's not just, there are two things. It's not that overnight we get there, but also Prabhupada says, one disciple once asked Prabhupada, how long does it take to surrender to Krishna? Prabhupada said, one moment. This is what Maharaj Katwanga, he surrendered to the Lord in one moment and he attained perfection. That is, how quick it can be for a truly surrendered soul. Yeah, it's like the, bringing together of the entire consciousness to that one focal point of, yes, Krishna, I'm yours. It really takes one moment to say that. But to live by that word is an entire, our existence. Yes, in one moment we can express this surrender. Krishna, I surrender to you honestly, this very moment. Are we really living by that? So that's the part two. So one thing is to marry, and second thing is to protect that marriage for the rest, stay committed to that marriage for the rest of our life. So it's one thing to say, oh Krishna, I'm surrendered to you. And the next thing is to live by that surrendered consciousness. So it happens moment after moment. Yeah, surrender is when we say no to our mind and say yes to Krishna, that's a surrender. When we are in difficulties and we are bogged down, we just say, Krishna, I am yours. Handle me as you like. But just allow me to always chant your holy names and be in association of your devotees. That is surrender. I have so many allurements. Yeah. I'm struggling. Yes. But I have the desire. There's a beautiful sentence that this material world is a world of contamination. Just like, it's not that I get into water and if I want to stay dry, how impossible it is. Similarly, coming into this contact with material nature and I want to stay uncontaminated, it's really almost an impossible task. So this introduction of teachings of Lord Chaitanya, tomorrow is also the auspicious Gaura Purnima. So the introduction of teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada wrote these beautiful words of Srila Rupa Goswami. So when we come into the material nature, everyone is in the state of contamination. But how do we know that? How do we keep away from contamination? How do we stay pure in this materially contaminated atmosphere? There's one way. One who has made service to Krishna as one's ambition. Yeah, we all have so many ambitions in our life. If we make our ambition as service to Krishna, then we are protected from the contamination of this material world. So that is surrender. That is protection. So this is what is dovetailing our ambitious spirit. So surrender has so many meanings, and also Nectar of Devotion speaks about the 6 items of surrender. Anukulyasya sankalpam, pratikulyasya varjanam, rakshayati iti vishvaso. Yeah. Anukulyasya sankalpam, that is with determination, accept those things that are favorable to Krishna consciousness. Yeah, we all know what is favorable for Krishna consciousness. A, B, C, D. Yeah. Anukulyasya sankalpam, with determination, accept them. It's not easy to accept them. Mind always rejects. Sankalpam, with determination, accept things favorable. Yeah. Anukulyasya sankalpam. Yeah. Pratikulyasya varjanam. That which is not favorable, reject it. That too with determination, reject it. These are the first 2 legs of surrender. And then when we practice this, Then we move to the third leg, Rakshayati iti Vishwaso, that we should have that faith that Krishna will definitely protect. Yeah, so we will discuss this in Nectar of Devotion. I hope this helps.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Dhanwad.
yes, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll meet in the next session.